Bonjour or hello there. Je m'appelle Karil.
Je m'appelle Luis.
Je m'appelle Adrian.
Enchanté. Today, we will be discussing the business culture in French Republic, aka France. So what are we waiting for? Ah, deux, trois, let's begin.
So let's start with the culture of France. What is known for? What is the attitude of their people? And what other culture profile does the amazing country have? So let's start with a brief introduction to France itself. France is the largest and oldest nation in Europe, known for its iconic destinations such as Paris, the city of love, and other population destinations, such as the iconic Eiffel Tower. France is also the leader in intellectual trends, fine arts such as paintings, sculptures, and their architecture, fashion such as the famous brands Chanel, Louis Vuitton, their language also known as the language of love, and their famous cuisine and dishes such as their exquisite wine and cheese. Today, France is one of the most modern countries in the world and is a leader among European nations.
So what about the people? What is their general attitude and behavior? Here are some of their traits. So the first one is their entire frankness and their independence. In French, that they accept negative feedbacks and sometimes assess positive impacts as hypocritical. From their motto, liberty, equality, and fraternity, reflects the values of French society. Equality and unity are important. They love to challenge the one who is speaking. Everyone can be subject to debate and discussion. The next one is numbers. Facts and details matter. Not only do they love debates, they also value the details when it comes to business and presenting, which makes them great analyzers in terms of data and statement. The next one is French, having a strong irony which hides their tenderness. They love being ironic because it's funny and because they can hide their tenderness. It also means that small talks don't work. French people have a slightly different perception of time. They might spend a few hours at lunch and stay longer at work in the evenings. Lastly, the French also value silent sophistication, and they
To sum things up for the culture part of this presentation, let's summarize France's language, religion, and customs. Their language, also known as the language of love, French or Français, is the official language used by France. The French language sounds like music. The melodic rhythm of the French language is enough to melt hearts all over the world, which is why it is known as the language of love and romance. Furthermore, there are over 25 regional languages that are being spoken by locals. The regional languages of France are divided into 5 language family subgroups: Basconic, Italo-Dalmatian, Gallo-Romance, Germanic, and Celtic. The Gallo-Romance language subgroup is further divided into the largest number of regional languages and has the largest number of speakers. The most widely spoken regional language is Occitan, which is part of Gallo-Romance and can be heard at the southern part of the country. Although the most dominant religion in France is Catholicism, which is less than half of the country's population, the country's church attendance is the lowest among the entire world. Not only that, 35% of the population claim that they have no religion, and only a few are in other religions such as Islam, Protestantism, Buddhism, and etc. The French also highly value family, to which they would also hold weekly meal gatherings. Now that we have shared what culture France has, it is now time to learn their business culture.
In this section of the presentation, how they greet each other and when they meet or when have meeting, and other do's and don'ts that you guys should watch out for when entering a restaurant. Let's start with their basic food and dining etiquette. In France, at dinner, hands should always be in view or above the table. This is for sure that you are not concealing any weapons. So remember to always keep your hands on the table. The next one is to always eat with both a knife and fork. In France, you'll need to use both with the fork in the left hand and the knife in the right. Don't interchange your finish. Always place them together as it indicates that you are finished eating. In France, dinner will usually be a full course meal which includes a starter, a main dish, or an entree. One thing to take note of is that French don't have dinner by 6 p.m. Usually it is later than the time we usually have dinner since they don't go off work till 6:30 p.m.
So, how do French businessmen perform a greeting or meeting? Well, at a business meeting, the most appropriate greeting is a French style handshake, which is known to be brisk and light. Kissing cheeks across genders is also a common greeting among colleagues at work. However, in terms of the opposite sex, the female counterpart should take the initiative. It is a taboo for men to take the initiative of kissing the cheeks of a woman. In terms of the title of courtesy, using first names depends on when you are invited to do so, since some French prefers to be called by their surname and some prefer to be called by their first name. Relationships are also important in the French business culture, and first impressions are highly dependent on appearance as well. So, quality business attire with some jewelry and accessories are welcome. However, if you come across as dressed too fancy or uncommonly, the reactions will not be positive. Also, wear only conservative clothing of the finest quality. Before discussing business, colleagues will often spend a few minutes getting to know each other.
Lastly, let's talk about the other do's and don'ts in the workplace and in the country. As for do's, say the number before saying the statement. Example, the first one, the next one lastly. One. So do say hello, bonjour upon entering an establishment like store, restaurant, etc. Before you begin browsing or asking questions, say goodbye upon leaving. Number two, do learn some French phrases. It will show you are making the effort to speak the language and show respect. Three, do realize that to use the washroom in places such as restaurants or department stores, you will have to pay a nominal fee. Four, do not take the metro, subway, and hang onto your pocket until do take metro subway and hang onto your ticket until you leave the station. You could be checked by the police and fined if you don't have your ticket stub. 5. Do remember to validate your ticket before you board a train. Validating machines are located entrance to the platform. For don'ts, number 1, do not use to or you to address another person unless the person is quite familiar to you. Use vous as it is more formal. 2. Do not take out coffee and drink it while walking down the street. Drink it drink it at a cafe, either standing at a bar or sitting at a table. 3. Do not touch the produce at an outdoor market. Simply indicate to the seller what you want. 4. Do not order a cafe au latte to end your meal. This drink is taken at breakfast. And lastly, number 5, do not rush your meal. The, Fre- the French enjoy their time to relax over a coffee or meal. You should too and take at least 2 hours to savor the flavor. So that is it for our presentation. We hope that you learn a lot about France, business, culture, and hopefully when you work with the French or work in France itself, you are now aware of their culture and maybe you could also impress them as well. Thank you.